Welcome to Krista's So Crafty. Today we're going to take this quilt block and we're going to make it into a cushion cover. So I'm going to take our backing piece, make sure it's nice and flat, and I'm going to turn up the one edge about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to press that down. Like this, all the way across. Make sure it's nice and pressed, nice and flat. And then I'm going to fold this about 1 inch, like this, and press that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other one and I'm going to match that up. So first I'm going to do the 1/4 of an inch. Now if you want to take a ruler and measure it, by all means you could do that, but this is going to be just fine. And then I'm going to line up the bottom of these so that they match up along the one edge, and I'm going to fold this one over so it matches the top edge, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's going to be just perfect. So I'm going to press this down like that, and now we can take these over to the sewing machine and stitch along this line here and the top edge as well. I'm going to do that on both of these. All right, so let's start by sewing here, and I'm just going to use white thread, and I'm just going to sew using a 2.4 stitch length. And now I'm going to sew on the outside edge here. And I am going to give this a really good press, but I'm going to repeat the same process on the other one. All right, let's take these to the ironing board and give them a good press. The backs are all done, ready to go. Oh, there's a thread. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the 15-inch block and we're going to quilt it. So here is our 15-inch block that we made, the other day. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, I'll put a link for it up here. So this is a 15-inch square block, and what I've done is I've cut out a piece of batting. This is just like a Warm and Bright or something. I just cut that out the same size as this, and I'm just going to do some easy quilting. Just going to use my regular sewing machine, and I think I'm just going to do some stitch in the ditch, and that'll be enough to quilt this down. All right, so let's get started on this. So I've gone ahead and put some pins just to hold everything in place. You want to make sure that your fabric is staying in on the same spot. You don't want it to be shifting at all. So again, I put in some pins and just pick a spot. I do like to start near the middle kind of area. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to do this 4 patch in the center first. I'm going to use white thread and I'm going to start right in that center spot. And I'm going to use like a 3 or 3.5 stitch length. This way it's not going to pull everything. And I'm also using my walking foot. And let's start. So I do like to do a little back stitch. And away we go. And I go nice and slow and follow that stitch line with that needle all the way. And I am going to turn my speed down because I do have a bit of a lead foot here and I don't want to go too fast. And that will help me to keep going with a speed that is comfortable where I'm not going to make any mistakes, because I want this to look nice and neat. So when I get to this seam line here, I'm going to stop right on that line and then I'm going to back stitch and cut my thread. And this will just help to keep it nice and neat. So now I'm going to move over. Let's trim this thread off so it doesn't get in the way. I have the quilting all done. Now you could absolutely do more quilting on this. You know, you could do some free motion quilting. You could do some loops in here. You could make these all different patterns if you wanted. Lots of different options for you. But for this, I'm just going to leave it like this. Now I did go through and do a stitch in the ditch all the way around this outside square. And then I outlined each card like this. Okay, so I did not sew across this part. I just left the cards so they would kind of be the focal. And then I also went and stitched across each of these triangles blocks here. And I also stitched a little bit over these here just to hold them down in place. Now it is time to start putting the back onto our pillowcase. So when I made these, I folded them over and whatnot. But I did the double stitching. I think I want this side to be on the outside. So to do that, I need to put it on the right side's facing right now. What that'll do is, because I'm going to sew this and then I'm going to flip it right sides out. So I will go ahead and line this all up like that. And we'll definitely put some pins in. So I'll start down here. You don't need any backing on these pieces here. They're just there to help hold the cushion together, right? So I will go ahead and do this. And you'll notice I haven't pinned up here yet because I want to take this one and I want to make sure that this part here is face down. And go like this. Everything all lined up. And now that everything is layered properly, now I can go ahead and pin in here like this to hold everything in place. We want to make sure that this is all flat and nice and neat. I'm going to pin right where we've sewed the hem earlier. I'm going to put pins in there. And down in here. And across the bottom and on this side. Oops. Now we can take this to the sewing machine and we're going to sew all the way around the outside. I'm also going to take out my serger and I'm going to serge the edge all the way around just so that it's nice and neat. If you don't have a serger, no worries. Use your sewing machine. Just use a zigzag. All right, let's bring this in here and get this lined up. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm using a 1/4 inch stitch with a 2.4 stitch length. And we're just going to sew that down, and we're not going to sew over our pins. Go right to the corner and put your needle down and turn. So now I'm going to grab my serger out here and serge around the edges. So now that we're all done that part, we can push that out of the way and trim off all these threads, all our strings. And basically this is all done. This just helps to keep everything nice and neat on the inside. As you can see, it's just really nice. Now the fun part is we get to turn this right sides out. So I just reach my hand in, grab it by the corner, kind of tuck it in and push it like that. So what I like to do is I like to put my thumb in the corner, and then I fold this down and towards one side, and I push it up, and it just helps to bring that corner out a bit neater than if we were to just push it out. And there we go. Now what I can do is I will take this over to the iron, and I'm going to give this a good press, and I want this to lay out nice so that the seam is all the way out to the edge. And I'm going to make sure that my corners are out. If they're not, I'm going to use some sort of a tool. You can use a pen or a pencil, just be very careful in poking out those corners. Then our pillow cover is all done. So I have a pen and this little tool. And so I'm going to start with this little tool. And what I like to do is go to the back, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it along the edge to try to get these seams to lay down nice and neat. You can try it in the corner. It's not really pointed enough to get the corner, but you can try. But this just helps. And it's easier if you just kind of lay it on the table. And basically inside I'll do this, but I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to push along here like that, and it'll help to get those seams out like so. And it just helps to make sure that everything is out as far as it can go, and that we're going to have a nice finish at the very end here. This is a little trickier part right here because we have all the joins, but it can be done. All right, so now I'm going to take a pen because I don't have anything else that's pokey, and I'm going to go into the corner. But when I go into the corner, I just want to show you this. So when you're dealing with inside the corner, you have this little piece here. Remember, we tucked it to one side. This is where you want your pen to go. I'm going to go here and help poke out that corner. I don't want to go here because there's a good chance I could poke this right through this material. But because there's a double layer, basically, we have our material plus our batting, there's less likelihood that my pen will go through there. But I'm still going to be very careful. So I'm going to make sure that's pushed out as far as I can. And I'm going to put my pen in there. And I'm just going to poke that corner out. And it just helps to make it that much nicer. So be very gentle with this. And do all four corners. Pressed nice and neat. All the edges are, nice and neat. I got the back all laid down nice and neat. Now all we need to do is put our cushion in here. So what I like to do, okay, trying to get this so that you can see what I'm doing. Just gonna put the pillow in here. That's all, or the cushion. That's all I'm doing. Like so. And then we'll bring this side, squish it in here. And then it's just a matter of floofing it, making sure it's all out to the corners. And that's how easy it is to take your blocks, your extra blocks, and make them into cushion covers. And so nice. I like that. Make sure everything's pulled in there nice. Looks so good. There we go. We have our cushion cover all done. Looks so good. And again, you can use any blocks you want to make these, right? If you have any orphan blocks, you can use these to make cushion covers. And wouldn't that be a nice birthday present, anniversary gift? You could make a couple, you could make matching ones. I have some in my trailer that I've made. They're just so cute. I really hope you enjoyed this cute and fun little tutorial today on how to make a cushion cover from a orphan block and how to make the envelope style backing. So cute. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join me, and click on the little bell to receive notification every time I upload a new video, which is on Thursdays. So thank you again, and happy crafting.